Welcome to Sexual Chemistry, the podcast where we dive deep into sexual health and wellness with honesty, education, and zero judgment. I'm your host, Zoya Sinclair, and today we're exploring one of the most fundamental yet often misunderstood aspects of intimate connection, manual stimulation, commonly known as fingering. This episode is designed for adults seeking to enhance their intimate relationships through better understanding, communication, and technique. We'll cover everything from basic approaches to advanced methods, always emphasizing safety, consent, and open communication. Whether you're exploring solo or with a partner, this comprehensive guide will provide valuable insights for people of all experience levels. So, grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's embark on this educational journey together. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your sexual health and satisfaction. And if you're eager for even more insights into relationships, communication, and personal growth, don't stop here. Explore Skoob, the AI-powered podcast app, with over 1,500 expertly curated podcasts inspired by best-selling nonfiction, expert advice, and transformative sexual wellness research. Download Skoob from the App Store or Play Store and keep empowering your life, one conversation at a time. Let's get started because a more connected, satisfying relationship begins with informed curiosity. Before we dive into any specific techniques, let's establish the most crucial element of any intimate encounter: communication. You might be surprised to learn that the best sexual technique in the world is simply asking your partner what they enjoy. Here's a revolutionary concept that can save you time, frustration, and awkward fumbling. Directly ask your partner, "How do you usually reach orgasm?" This simple question can provide immediate guidance or at least strong clues to follow. Understanding how your partner typically reaches climax, whether during solo experiences or with previous partners, offers invaluable insights. Don't shy away from discussing sexual preferences openly. This demonstrates confidence and maturity, traits that enhance intimate connections. If your partner isn't sure about their preferences, that's perfectly normal too. In these cases, exploration becomes a joint adventure where you can try different approaches and gauge responses together. This open communication approach applies whether you're using your fingers, your tongue, or introducing toys into your intimate experiences. Speaking of which, there are 3 primary methods for helping a partner reach orgasm through manual stimulation: using your fingers, using your tongue, or utilizing a vibrator. Each has its unique advantages, and we'll explore all of them in detail throughout this episode. The key takeaway here is that every person is different. What works for one individual might not work for another, and that's completely normal. Your role as a caring partner is to remain curious, attentive, and responsive to your partner's unique needs and preferences. Let's start with the fundamentals of finger-based stimulation. The basic technique involves using your index finger to create either up and down or side-to-side movements on or near the clitoris. The key is to continue with your chosen motion consistently until your partner reaches climax. Here's a crucial detail that many people overlook: moisture is absolutely vital. If your finger starts to dry out, you can use your partner's natural lubrication, your own saliva, or store-bought lubricant. Never underestimate the importance of proper lubrication. It's the difference between pleasure and discomfort. Now here's where individual preferences really come into play. Some people prefer direct clitoral stimulation, while others find this too intense and prefer touches nearby or just below the clitoris. Don't hesitate to ask your partner which they prefer, and if they're not sure, experiment with both approaches while paying attention to their responses. It's also worth noting that some individuals might not enjoy the sensation of fingers at all, finding them too rough or textured. This is where understanding your partner's preferences becomes essential, and why having multiple techniques in your repertoire is so valuable. For extended manual stimulation sessions, positioning is crucial. Try lying side by side, both flat on your backs, with your arm comfortably placed across your partner's abdomen. This position is optimal because your arm remains at rest and supported, allowing you to focus on gentle, rhythmic, external touch rather than internal or forceful approaches. Now that we've covered the basics, let's explore more sophisticated approaches to manual stimulation. These techniques require patience, attention, and a willingness to slow down and really focus on the sensations you're creating. Begin with your palm resting on your partner's pubic mound, fingers lightly draped over the vulva. Use a single finger, either index or middle, to start exploring. Gently trace the outline of the labia, encompassing both inner and outer areas. Offer soft touches to the inner thighs, lightly brushing the skin. At the vaginal entrance, employ a gentle come-hither motion with your fingertip. Think of it like skimming the surface of calm water or softly stroking a cat between its eyes. This delicate approach helps build anticipation and arousal gradually. Progress to softly stimulating the top of the clitoral head using a single fingertip in small rhythmic circles. Continue with those subtle come-hither gestures from the underside of the clitoral head, engaging what's called the frenulum area, while delicately grazing the vaginal entrance. Here's a technique many people don't know about. Focus on the area just above the clitoral head where the outer labia converge, known as the front commissure. Brush downwards over the clitoral head using the gentle surface of your fingernail and fingertip combined. As arousal builds, try using 2 fingers to tenderly squeeze the sides of the clitoral head. When your partner is ready, you can introduce these same 2 fingers into the vaginal entrance, directing your fingertips toward the vaginal ceiling to locate the pubic bone area. In this position, your fingers can wrap around the clitoral head, allowing you to massage the sensitive area just behind it, where numerous nerve fibers meet. The pressure here should be firmer than your previous touches, as this position focuses on delivering steadier, more intense sensations. Depending on your partner's level of arousal, you might feel what's called the clitoral cuff swell and gently embrace your fingers. As you proceed, consider including a 3rd finger if gradual adaptation permits it. Maintain small, swift motions from side to side, engaging both the clitoral cluster and the head. Here's where things get really interesting. Remove your fingers and press the flat palm of your hand against your partner's vulva to fully cover the region. Position your palm as a firm wall, allowing your partner to press against it. This engages major nerve endings, particularly in the labia, which might otherwise be overlooked. This technique is brilliant because it encourages your partner to control the intensity by providing resistance and pressure rather than you assuming a completely dominant role. This approach often prevents the tired tongues or wrists that can result from trying to do all the work yourself. If you encounter fatigue, and let's be honest, we all do sometimes, reassess your approach to offer a steady resistance point, whether through the tip of your tongue or a firm palm. The goal is sustainability and consistent pleasure. Continuously alternate between these various stimulating techniques, using your intuition to decide when to transition between positions. You can also switch things up by asking your partner to turn onto their stomach. From this position, you can approach from above, inserting your thumb into the vaginal entrance to rhythmically massage the clitoral cluster while your other fingers target the clitoral head with precise attention. The beauty of these varied approaches is that they prevent monotony and allow you to respond to your partner's changing arousal levels and preferences throughout your intimate encounter. Now let's talk about something absolutely crucial that often gets overlooked in discussions about manual intimacy: safety and protection. Using gloves during intimate activities such as manual stimulation and finger penetration is vital for both your safety and your partner's. This is particularly important if you have any cuts, scratches, or even torn cuticles, as these can potentially allow sexually transmitted infections to enter your bloodstream. Don't think that just because you're not having penetrative intercourse, you're automatically safe from STI transmission. Latex gloves are the most popular choice due to their availability and effectiveness as a barrier for safer sex. However, if you or your partner are allergic or sensitive to latex, alternative materials such as nitrile, vinyl, and neoprene are excellent options. Here's a practical tip. While powdered gloves are easier to put on and take off, they may irritate sensitive skin for some people. If you notice itching or redness and you're certain the glove material isn't the issue, switch to non-powdered gloves. Make sure you choose the right glove size, which ranges from extra small to extra large. A glove that's too tight can restrict blood flow and is more prone to tearing, while a glove that's too large can reduce sensitivity and might be uncomfortable for your partner. Besides their role in safer sex, gloves can also provide reassurance if you have concerns about your nails' length or cleanliness, especially when engaging in anal play. Always use ample lubrication with gloves to minimize friction and facilitate smoother, more comfortable penetration. When it comes to oral contact, particularly oral anal contact, the use of barriers is equally important. Latex dental dams are conventionally used for this purpose. Originally developed for dental procedures, these squares of latex have been repurposed by safer sex practitioners. However, they can sometimes be too thick or small for sexual activity. If you're finding these tips useful, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe the channel on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Every share and subscription supports this show and ensures you'll never miss out on more empowering conversations. Let's keep the learning and discovery going together. Now, let's shift our focus to solo exploration because understanding your own body is fundamental to communicating your needs to a partner. Self-exploration isn't just about personal pleasure, it's about education, self-awareness, and ultimately better partnered experiences. You might be someone who enjoys simultaneous clitoral stimulation and penetration, or you might appreciate the sensation of fullness when you're highly aroused. One way to explore this is by inserting a finger when you're in a heightened state of arousal. You could keep your finger there throughout the experience or introduce it just as you're approaching climax, as this can help some people reach orgasm more easily. Always apply lubricant to your fingers beforehand for increased comfort. Alternatively, you could experiment with a sex toy instead of your finger. The goal here is discovery without pressure or expectations. Another method to explore is lying on your stomach and moving against a soft object like a pillow. Don't concern yourself with how this might translate to partnered experiences. The focus is solely on discovering what brings you pleasure and potentially achieving orgasm. Water-based stimulation can also be incredibly effective. Try lying in a bathtub with the water running, positioning yourself directly beneath the faucet. Alternatively, aim a handheld shower head at your genitals. There are waterproof vibrators available specifically for this purpose. Again, the objective isn't about how this translates to partnered experiences, but rather personal enjoyment and discovery. Here's something fascinating. Many people don't experience their first orgasm until they try a vibrator. If you've tried various manual methods and are still unable to reach orgasm, acquiring a vibrator might be beneficial. Even if you already climax using your hands, a vibrator can add a new dimension of fun to your sexual experiences. Recent research has shown some interesting findings about vibration and sensitivity. Studies on rabbits showed that vibrations applied to their clitorises increased their clitoral nerve endings. Since rabbit anatomy shares some similarities with human anatomy, scientists speculate that similar effects might occur in humans. Speaking of vibrators, let's dive deeper into this topic because it's relevant whether you're exploring solo or with a partner. Many people claim that if you've never used a vibrator before, you're in for quite an experience. Many individuals discover that vibrators can help them achieve orgasm more effortlessly than manual stimulation or a partner's tongue. If you're uncertain about your preference for pairing clitoral stimulation with penetration, start with a vibrator specifically designed for clitoral stimulation. If your budget allows, consider purchasing one with adjustable speed settings to experiment with different levels of vibration intensity. Given the vast array of vibrators available, it might be beneficial to explore purchasing through reputable websites that offer educational resources and customer support. Look for sites that offer online chat services and customer service helplines, and that feature dedicated sections to guide first-time purchasers. The integration of toys into partnered play can be incredibly rewarding. Vibrators have their pros and cons, but their primary benefit lies in assisting people who struggle with achieving orgasm through traditional methods alone. Some individuals may be unable to climax from manual or oral stimulation alone, or they require specific and potentially difficult to repeat circumstances. For these people, a vibrator can be immensely beneficial. Remember, there's no shame in using tools to enhance pleasure. Just as you might use tools to improve other aspects of your life, sexual wellness tools are simply another way to optimize your experiences and satisfaction. Now let's address a topic that many people are curious about but often hesitant to discuss: anal play using fingers and toys. This is an area where safety, communication, and gradual progression are absolutely paramount. Some couples enjoy exploring anal play using fingers and toys while considering anal intercourse as a separate matter entirely. This is a completely valid approach. There's no rule that says you must progress from one activity to another. Each activity can be enjoyed on its own merits. When it comes to anal stimulation, there are several specific techniques worth understanding. Let's explore what are sometimes called rosebud stimulation techniques. These involve various methods of external anal stimulation that can be incredibly pleasurable when performed correctly. Stretching the skin around the anal area involves using both hands delicately to pull adjacent skin patches in opposite directions. This subtly stimulates nerve endings due to the hypersensitivity of the area. You can stretch the skin from side to side, vertically or diagonally. Adjust the speed, beginning with slow movements that gradually become faster, and introduce gentle finger movements during the stretch to enhance sensation. The hands-down technique involves positioning your hand as if preparing for a handshake, with the pinky side facing downward. Place your hand along the crease, ensuring it passes over the anal area, and glide smoothly from top to bottom. You can keep your hand flat or bend your wrist, allowing each finger to separately graze the area. For those interested in internal anal stimulation, the approach must be even more careful and gradual. Start with external massage and stimulation early in your session so that by the time any internal exploration takes place, the area is relaxed and ready. If you're progressing to internal anal stimulation, remember that this requires extensive preparation, patience, and abundant lubrication. The anal area doesn't self-lubricate like the vagina, so external lubrication is absolutely essential. Begin with a single finger, well lubricated and introduced very gradually. The knuckler technique involves gently curling the fingers and pressing the knuckle side against the anal area, either moving fingers collectively or individually in a rhythmic pattern. For internal exploration, always use gloves and copious amounts of high-quality lubricant designed specifically for anal play. These lubricants are typically thicker and longer-lasting than those designed for vaginal use. When engaging in any anal activities, understanding the associated STI risks is crucial. Manual external stimulation without penetration or gloves carries risks for genital warts and herpes. Broken skin can increase the risk of contracting chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and hepatitis B. Internal anal penetration without protection presents these same risks, emphasizing the importance of barrier methods. Remember, the anal area is highly sensitive and requires a completely different approach than a vaginal stimulation. Rushing or applying too much pressure can cause discomfort or injury, so patience and communication are essential. For those interested in more advanced forms of manual stimulation, let's discuss vaginal fisting. This is an advanced practice that requires extensive communication, trust, and preparation. Vaginal fisting involves having an entire hand within a partner's vagina. Both parties often describe this as an incredibly intense experience, but it requires significant preparation and should never be attempted without proper knowledge and gradual progression. Successful and enjoyable fisting necessitates excellent communication and complete trust between partners. Contrary to its aggressive-sounding name, when performed correctly with proper preparation, it can be a safe exploration of sexual play. Here are the essential guidelines for those interested in exploring this advanced technique. Safety must always come first. Use latex or non-latex gloves to maintain hygiene and prevent injury. This practice demands gradual buildup, substantial patience, and copious amounts of lubricant to be safe and pleasurable. The person performing the fisting should maintain steady, consistent movements. Having another hand available to apply additional lubricant and provide clitoral stimulation can enhance the experience based on the receiving partner's preferences. Begin by inserting one finger at a time, ensuring your palm faces your partner's abdomen. Patience is absolutely critical. Rushing can lead to discomfort or injury. Continue using lubricant liberally throughout the entire experience. The receiving partner might find it beneficial to engage their pelvic muscles by bearing down, which can facilitate deeper, more comfortable penetration. Synchronizing breathing with movements can create a more cohesive and comfortable experience. To incorporate the entire hand, tuck your thumb across your palm and squeeze your fingers together, making your hand as narrow and streamlined as possible. This position is often called the duck, due to the hand's duckbill-like shape. Throughout all these techniques, whether basic or advanced, the principle of gradual progression cannot be overstated. This applies to everything from basic finger stimulation to the most advanced techniques we've discussed. When it comes to finger penetration specifically, the way individuals desire to be stimulated varies greatly. Many people do not enjoy abrupt or aggressive movements, so it's always recommended to initiate with a gentle approach. While exploring internal sensations, never overlook the external areas such as the clitoris and vulva, which play crucial roles in sexual arousal and satisfaction. These areas often require continued attention even during internal stimulation. There's considerable flexibility regarding how many fingers can be used during manual stimulation. It's generally safe to insert multiple fingers into the vagina, but the key is following your partner's lead and ensuring that communication and consent guide any progression. Curving your fingers slightly upward, pointing toward your partner's belly, can help stimulate the G-spot area. However, this sensation varies significantly among individuals. Some may find it intensely pleasurable, others may not notice it at all, and some may find it uncomfortable. The most important aspect of any manual stimulation is taking your time and allowing sexual tension to build gradually. This approach leads to more satisfying experiences and better outcomes for everyone involved. Let's talk about some practical considerations that can make or break your intimate experiences. Regardless of your background, whether you work in an office or do manual labor, everyone benefits from having capable, attentive hands when it comes to manual stimulation. Nail care is crucial. Keep your nails trimmed and filed smooth to prevent any discomfort or injury. If you're unable to trim your nails adequately, gloves become even more important for safety and comfort. Hand strength and dexterity matter, but technique and attentiveness matter more. If you find yourself getting tired during manual stimulation, remember the resistance techniques we discussed earlier. Sometimes the most effective approach is providing steady pressure or resistance that allows your partner to control the intensity and rhythm. Lubrication isn't just helpful, it's often essential. Keep quality lubricant easily accessible and don't be shy about reapplying it frequently. Different activities may require different types of lubricant, so consider having options available. Temperature can also play a role in comfort and pleasure. Cold hands can be startling and uncomfortable, so take a moment to warm your hands before beginning any intimate contact. The environment matters too. Ensure you have privacy, comfortable positioning, and adequate time without rushing. Sexual pleasure often requires mental relaxation as much as physical technique. We started this episode talking about communication, and it's worth revisiting this topic because communication shouldn't stop once physical intimacy begins. Ongoing communication during intimate activities is just as important as initial discussions about preferences. Pay attention to nonverbal cues. Breathing patterns, muscle tension, movement, and sounds can all provide valuable feedback about what's working and what isn't. Learn to read these signals while also encouraging verbal communication. Don't be afraid to ask for guidance during intimate moments. Simple questions like, "Does this feel good?" or "Would you like me to continue with this?" can provide valuable direction without breaking the mood. Remember that preferences can change not just from person to person, but from moment to moment with the same person. What feels amazing on Tuesday might not feel as good on Thursday, and that's completely normal. Encourage your partner to communicate their needs as well. Create an environment where they feel comfortable saying more, less, different, or stop, without fear of judgment or disappointment. Let's address some common challenges people face with manual stimulation and how to work through them. These issues are normal, and with patience and communication, most can be resolved. If your partner has difficulty reaching orgasm through manual stimulation, remember that this doesn't reflect on your technique or their responsiveness. Some people require specific types of stimulation, particular positioning, or longer build-up periods. Hand fatigue is common, especially during longer sessions. Use the resistance techniques we discussed, change positions, or incorporate other forms of stimulation to give your hands a break while maintaining your partner's arousal. If sensitivity levels vary dramatically from session to session, remember that factors like stress, hormones, medication, and general health can all affect sexual response. Flexibility and patience are key. For those who find direct clitoral stimulation too intense, focus on indirect stimulation through the clitoral hood or surrounding areas. Sometimes less direct pressure creates more sustainable pleasure. If you're having difficulty with lubrication, either too little or finding that it dries out quickly, consider trying different brands or types of lubricant. Silicone-based lubricants last longer than water-based ones, though they are not compatible with silicone toys. As we wrap up this comprehensive exploration of manual intimacy, let's revisit the key principles that should guide all your intimate experiences: communication, consent, safety, and patience. Remember that sexual pleasure is not a performance or a race to the finish line. It's an exploration, a conversation between bodies, and an opportunity for connection and joy. The techniques we've discussed today are tools in your toolkit, not rigid rules that must be followed. Every person is unique in their preferences, sensitivity levels, and response patterns. What works beautifully with one partner may need adjustment with another, and that's not just normal. It's part of what makes intimate exploration interesting and rewarding. Safety should never be compromised for spontaneity. Keep gloves and lubricant easily accessible, maintain good hygiene, and don't hesitate to pause if something doesn't feel right. Your health and your partner's health are always the top priority. Whether you're exploring solo or with a partner, approach intimate activities with curiosity rather than pressure. The goal is pleasure, connection, and satisfaction, not achieving specific outcomes or meeting arbitrary standards. Finally, remember that sexual education is an ongoing process. Continue learning, communicating, and exploring throughout your life. Your understanding of your own body and your partner's body will evolve over time, and that's exactly as it should be. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Sexual Chemistry with yours truly, Zoya Sinclair. Remember to prioritize communication, safety, and mutual respect in all your intimate experiences. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember that knowledge truly is power when it comes to your sexual health and satisfaction. If you've enjoyed today's conversation and want more insights into intimate relationships, personal growth, and wellness, don't stop here. Check out Skoob, the AI-powered podcast app, with over 1,500 expertly curated podcasts from top resources around the world. Download Skoob from the App Store or Play Store and keep empowering your journey, one story at a time. Until next time, stay connected and keep learning.